The paddy wagon was right there. They took the young man out, beat him some more. The man wasn't responding. They took him by his pants, and he was dragged. And I asked them to call the ambulance. They told me to mind my business.
Where protests over the death of Freddie Gray have entered their fifth day. The 27-year-old African-American man died Sunday from spinal injuries, 1 week after Baltimore police arrested him. His family and attorneys say his voice box was crushed and his spine was, quote, 80% severed at his neck. A preliminary autopsy report showed Gray died of a spinal injury. Video shot by a bystander shows Gray screaming in apparent agony as police drag him to a van. You can hear a bystander's voice.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no God.
Justice was not served, but you have to go by the letter of the law. They said they stayed within the letter of the law. And because they stayed with what we call within the letter of the law, it caused them to be able to walk away from this thing without any problem. Racism in the police department has existed ever since I can recall. And so I'm saying for at least 60 or 65 years, there's always been a divide between the police department and African Americans. I don't know if it's a thing wherein that it's come through the idea of racism, but there's been a distrust. The African American community does not trust the police that we have, even though we have black commissioners and have had black commissioners. There still is a divide and a distrust when it comes to the police department, because we are always the ones who are locked up, never talked to, but locked up, and we're always the ones who have to go through the court system, wherein that other people would get a slap on the wrist. We would get charges that were much worse than what they would receive. My perception that slavery still exists is through our penal system. When I see young guys walk into a courtroom with shackles and chains all about them, then I begin to think about slavery all over again. And when I think about how our prisons are overpopulated and are faced with the dilemma of building more prisons, then I think of slavery. Then I think of slavery again with that penal system, because prisons save economies. I'm reminded when Western Maryland, when the Kelly Tire Company closed, they built 3 new prisons. In the Eastern Shore, they built new prisons, and those prisons now help their economic system to be where it is now. The police power was assumed, and in assuming those police powers, it caused the reaction of the community to do what they did. Now, it was already a powder keg waiting to go off, but the spark of Freddie Gray caused it even more to explode because of the situation, circumstances that brought about it. It could have been simply stopped, and stopped meaning that they could have taken him to the hospital. The hospitals could have seen or dealt with him, and then he could have gone to the police station. But the white police officers saw him, not sure if they beat him or whatever, but he was banged up riding in the cruiser, and that caused a reaction. Now, I had not seen a reaction of that nature since the riots in 1968. Let's go out to the streets. And so we went to the streets, we walked, we shared, we locked arms like we were in 1968. We walked and locked arms, marching, and the thing that still rings out in my mind today was there were 2 young ladies that were following us, and she simply said to us, we have been waiting for our men to show up. When she said that, it brought tears to my eyes. They were expecting the ministers to show, regardless of the situation. And so the blessing is that we fulfilled her dream and the dreams of the community. And to make it even more apropos was the fact that the Bloods got behind us and would not let anybody break our rank or come into where we were. They covered our space. After we returned back to Charlotte, we went into the church, and the gangs followed us into the church, and we had dialogue one for another.
Formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, the spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Oh. Now the war is not over, victory isn't won, but we'll fight on to the finish, and then when it's all done, we'll cry.
We can make a difference as God's people in the community by allowing ourselves. We have some things that we do. We go out and share with the people. One thing that I try to do as a pastor here in the Park Heights community is to walk around the community and let folk know that Berean is concerned. One funny thing is that I was up on the 5200 block of Park Heights, no, 5100 block of Park Heights one day, and I was shaking hands and talking to people. And the guy said, "I know you." I said, "What do you know, Phil?" He said, "You the church that feeds us." So I thought that was so funny because that's the only way he knew me, but he knew me. And that's a good thing. We still had that family system that existed before that time. And that family system meaning that we were recognized by people as so-and-so's children because everybody in that area knew just about everybody else. And so therefore, parents could correct us. They would call ahead and tell the parent that they had corrected us, and then when we got home, we would be corrected again. And so everybody, it was the village concept of raising a child.
We will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, oh. When the war is won.
So moving forward, this maybe in a community because of the tragedy that didn't have to happen, maybe things are moving forward as we're looking here. Definitely, I feel like I'm in a peaceful area. I mean, I feel peaceful. I don't feel that why police would be around here stalking people and looking to break their spine and crush their vocal cord, voice box. I don't know, but there's no reason for it regardless. And as you see, we're here on a Saturday morning, and this is just a day in the life here in Baltimore, but it was a day in the death for Freddie Gray. And our hope is that we can prevent these things from happening as students and moving on into our professions or professions we're already in to do our part. No one person can do everything, but everybody can do something.